Welcome guys, my name is Dirk. I'm a 1060 56 elo on chess.com. This is my series about how to get to 1100. In this game my opponent played e4 and d4 and I played the Caro-Kann exchange variation. As you can see, I developed my pawn. I don't want any counterplay with his knight and bishop pinning with my development. I developed my knight, gave me a check, block with the bishop. I take it, we exchange bishops, and now I get into this position. And castles, I move my g-pawn, preparing to put my bishop on g7, and I finish my pawn chain, the typical Caro-Kann setup, and he develops his bishop onto f4, and now I castle. We exchange. Now I can take with my knight or I can take with the queen. Reason why I took with the queen is because now he cannot bring his knight to here, because now I can take. That's it. So I took with the queen. Move. And he moved his bishop, pinning my bishop, my knight to my bishop. And now it's a bit tricky to get out of this position. I decided to bring my A rook onto the open C file. In a typical Caro-Kann exchange variation, you want to fight on the CBA files. After he moved his queen to threaten to take the bishop, I decided to move my knight one square, to move my knight onto the E8 square, taking my bishop, offering exchange of black bishops, and after exchange we are still equal in material. He moved his knight, trying to get counterplay for the f7 square. I took his free pawn because it's free. He protected his pawn by moving it. I doubled my rooks, and now I can start attacking on the C file. After he moved to end his H pawn to make breathing room for his king, I decided to put my queen onto E7. Why? Because I want to get my queen onto the king side and to protect key squares. For instance, if I did not do that, his knight can come in and be put on the outpost square on the e5, and I will be crushed. I did not want that. He's already trying to do that. So I developed my queen onto the g5 square like I wanted. And he develops his knight onto d3, going for that e5 square outpost, going for the checkmate. I developed my knight. It's the only attacking, it's my only piece that isn't participating in the attack, and you can see if I attack this, it's gone. I lose my advantage. So what do I do? I wanted to simplify. Okay, let's trade rooks. Exchange the rooks, and now I'm up in exchange, and I gave a critical check. I move my queen back, pinning the knight to to the king. He brought his queen, unpinning the knight to the queen, because now if he moves the knight, let's say to d and into d3, he's gonna offer a queen trade. I protected my h-pawn. Why? Because the queen can take with check, and I do not want that if the knight moves. I want to prepare to move my knight. When he moved his g-pawn, and putting more protection by his king and queen, I decided, okay, I'm gonna target his queen to make it move, because there isn't actually very good squares where the queen can move. And I slowly started to kick his bishop out, and now I can move my knight to go to the e square and to into the e4 square, like you will see now. See, now I'm attacking the queen. Now the queen has to move again. Reason why I moved my b pawn, because I was afraid if I did this, he can simply come here and attack my pawn. But if he does that, that's mate. But it would have been easier. But after he moves his knight, I said, okay, so you pin your knight to your queen. Okay. I did not trade the queens. Why? Because then he would be in a much better position. He still has his B and A pawns and his isolated D pawn. I won't be able to push through, so instead I'm trying to get as many of his pawns as possible to get myself advantage in the in game after I trade the queens. Well, he moved his pawn, protected by the queen, and because he did that, now I have this C and the C file check. Now the queen protects the king, offering a trade of offering a trade of queens. I say no. Okay. He moves his knight, unprotecting the pawn, trying to get counterplay. Well, it's a free pawn. Now my C pawn, I mean my B, A, and D pawn is free. There's no obstacles I can promote. And here I decide, okay, let's trade queens. Why not? And now he has 2 pawns versus my 7 pawns, and I'm up in exchange. And I should have actually just moved my king here instead of pushing the pawns. But in any case, I decided, okay, you can't really stop it. Well, then I decided, okay, if he can stop it, let's make it a decoy pawn. I start pushing the other pawns. So the king has to take those pawns, or try to stop these pawns that I'm trying to put down. Slowly but surely I moved all my pawns closer and closer and closer to closer and closer to promotion. He just did not take that pawn because then I would promote easier. Well, I attack his knight and he tries to repeat the position to get a draw. And after I moved my f pawn all the way from f7 to f2, there's nothing really he can do because the engine says he has to go here. Then I promote to a knight, so if he does this I can just take. A very very interesting position. My opponent resigned after I moved my pawn to f2. And that's that. Thanks for watching. I hope this game was interesting for you as it was for me. I love this. A very good game. Thanks for watching. Have a good day.